what college that you go to doesn't matter for your master's and your PhD, because like whether you go to an IIT or a BITS or any other top college, whether some other college is not that well known, how does it matter? And how, let's say, a person who doesn't belong to a really great college in his undergrad, how should he apply for a master's? How should his thought process be like?
So, yeah, if you're of course from an IIT or say BITS or IISER, or if you're from a good enough college, you will get a lot more research opportunities first and foremost. So you'll have a lot more opportunities to work with professors, build up your profile, basically get a lot of research experience under your belt. So first and foremost, that's how being in a better university affects your profile. So you'll have a lot more exposure in general to research, to professors, and you'll go attend a lot more conferences and stuff. So you'll interact with a lot more people in the field. So that first and foremost affects everything. Then secondly, if you're from a well-known university, again, like the US recruit, like the committee people will be able to recognize your university and stuff like that. They'll have seen other profiles from your same university and stuff. So that does matter a lot too. So of course the name of university does matter, but I would say it's not even close to being, the defining thing.
Okay.
You're like even if you're from like not a well-known university, you can work harder. You just have to work hard, like more hard. That's it. You have to work a lot more harder than someone from a more established university.
Okay.
It's sort of like a, if I want to think of it as, I don't want to say a race, but okay, if you want to think of it as a race, someone from a more established university starts off with a little further ahead. That's it. If you put in enough hard work, you can get anywhere. There is nothing stopping you. It's just that they ran a lot of the race earlier and now you have to catch up. That's it. If you work hard enough, you can do research assistantships with professors from other universities. So say, hey, I'm from, say CET in Trivandrum. I can, apply to professors at IITs. I can apply to professors abroad also, and, work with them as research assistants and gain research experience under my belt. So it's just slightly harder. It's not at all impossible or unheard of. Like there are various professors from there is actually a physics professor from CET I interacted with and stuff. So it's not impossible, I would say. Not even close. You just have to work harder.
Yeah. So I think you just have to like go about doing projects under professors and other established universities, and then you have to build up a profile and then you have to apply.
Exactly. It's just harder, but you can do it. Yeah.
All right. Makes sense. And
maybe if you're not at the end of 4 years, you can't apply. So the advantage, like even at the end of 4 years, if you're from a less established university and you still feel your profile is not good enough, you can of course work, like take a year off and work under professors as research assistants and stuff, and build up your eventual profile. So there are a lot of friends of mine who have done that. Like there is a friend of mine who's currently doing an RA at IIT Delhi after doing a BTech at NIT Calicut. So
okay,
yeah, you can build your profile. It's not difficult. Just work hard enough. That's it.
got it. And but then before you get to an RA or a research assistantship, like you need to work on something related to that as well. I mean, so how do you build up to that so that you can get an opportunity to work under a professor in the first place? I mean, how do you go about that process?
So a lot of people, even at even my peers, some of my peers here at IITM, they were really worried. They're like, do we know enough stuff to approach a professor for a project? Do we, hey, this guy knows so much. I have to learn that much to get into work with a professor, get into a lab, etc. That is not at all true. Professors are very happy to let you learn, to give you papers to learn, pick up knowledge from. So I can proudly say that the first 2 or maybe 3 research projects I worked on, all I started from scratch.
Okay.
I had to learn from scratch. I had to take papers, go through papers, learn, and eventually start working on it. I think first three, I had to learn from scratch, and it was difficult. But yeah, they will be happy to let you learn and give you that time and space. So even if you know nothing, you will never be hurt by mailing a professor. Or if you again are in the same university as a professor, just knock on their door. Hey, I am interested in this field. I want to get in. Can you please help me? They are willing to help you. Just trust me. They're willing to help you.
Damn, I think that's gonna help a lot of students out there. I mean, because the most people
Yeah,
they
just
have
go for it. Yeah, they have this inherent barrier. Oh no, I should know more before
Yeah.
applying. No, just go ask.
Yep. Makes sense. I mean, you just have to like show that you're willing to like put in the effort and then grow and learn along with
Exactly.
them. Yep. That makes perfect sense, man. So I just wanted to ask you, like, how does research in the US how is it different from research in the IITs? I mean, even IITs is known for a lot of research. Then you've seen research abroad as well. So how does their mindset differ from our mindset? So can you just talk a little bit about that?
So I don't really, I mean, I'm not qualified enough to comment on research, like the difference in research or whatever. But going from what I can see so far, I would say it's not really a huge difference in mindset as such, but it's just that there's more money in the US. There is a lot more money in the US. So they get the best students all over the world, they get the best faculty, they get the best everything. They literally just have so much money. And there's a lot more structure to it as well. Like you have to apply for grants, the grants are specific, there are funding agencies. It's very complicated, but I've so far from what I can see, it's just a lot more money, a lot more structure, a lot more process to the entire thing. It's not a lack of talent. You have Indian talent coming in here who do brilliantly. There are so many Indian professors here who are brilliant, who do amazing work. Even at IITs, you have brilliant professors here and there doing amazing work. It's just that a lot of the, first of all, I'll say a lot of the theoretical work done at IITs is amazing. A lot of experimental work is also amazing, and we are actually picking up. In fact, IASC's research output was ranked #1 with Caltech last
Wow.
year. That is how
Wow.
good we are. So it's not that we
Damn.
aren't good. It's just that we need a lot more money to do, astonishing, mind blowing stuff. So it's like we
Okay.
can do good stuff. We just can't do, headlines grabbing stuff yet because we need more
Okay.
money.
Yeah.
But the research going on in India is pretty good. It's catching up. I would say it's very good also. I had a professor who told me that Indian math is very underrated. Like the stuff we do is great.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
So I think like India also has a lot of potential. I mean, do you really see a future where people don't go to masters abroad and they just stay here and then they pursue things in research in India only without because like you see many of the people in IITs they do a masters abroad. Most of them who were into core jobs were into physics or in mechanical engineering. They go abroad to do their masters. But then do you see a future where people in India they stay back in India and then they start building for India? Like, what is your
Oh, I
mindset like?
have I have no clue. I have no clue. I would hope so. But again, I am not even qualified to think about such stuff.
Yeah.
But I certainly hope that, people can start doing that. But of course, people would prefer a master's to the US first and foremost because, again, quality of life is better, sadly. The dollar is stronger than INR,
Uh,
whatever, stuff like that.
yeah.
So, yeah, but ultimately, if enough, like even a lot of the other universities become better, you can have a lot better output overall. Because if you see right now, a lot of the research in IITs is driven by the PhD students at IITs, and those aren't for undergrads in IITs. Undergrads in IITs almost never go for PhDs in IITs.
Yeah, that's true.
And first and foremost is the conceptual thing. It's like, you think a PhD at IIT is not great, your peers are not great. That is there to a certain extent, but the money thing, there's a lot of complicated stuff, but hopefully it'll become better. I hope. I hope.
Yeah. So do you ever think of coming back to India and having your own company or like what is your plans for the future?